Please welcome the Chairman of National LULAC's Veteran Commission and Chief of Staff, Office of the National President, Roman Palomares.
Good morning. Buenos dias, buenos dias. For those of you who are not aware of the LULAC National Veterans Affairs Program, we started this program about 2 years ago. And the reason we started the program is that we saw veterans that were not getting their VA service, not being recognized, so we decided to start the program. We now have coordinators around every region of there's 6 regions that LULAC has, and we have a person who sits on the board. Like this morning, you met Keta. She introduced Tulsi. She represents women on the board. Then we have Carlos Luna, who's going to be here in a minute. He represents the Midwest, but he also represents the green card veterans. So we have members across the United States, and they're helping us with Veterans Affairs, working closely with the VA, and those are the kind of things we're trying to do. We're only two or 3 years old, and we're trying to get the program off the ground. So one of the things that I want you to do is we laid some material out on the chairs, okay? I don't want to see any of the material left in the chairs when you leave. And the reason you have that material in the chairs is because one of those pages is our agreement, our partnership with the VA. We executed this about 2 years ago. Here's a copy of the LULAC Veterans Affairs Agreement. They've agreed to do certain things, and they're doing it. Where's our VA person from Washington, D.C.? Where's Dwayne Campbell? Stand up, Dwayne. So every time I go to Washington, I go by and visit Dwayne. He helps us. Yesterday, he put on a workshop all day for veterans here. And the purpose of that workshop was to talk about claims. If you were a service-connected injury and you haven't filed a claim, or if you have a claim and you haven't heard about it, they did a workshop. And I think they serviced about 50 veterans yesterday in all areas. So that's our partnership. We also have a partnership to recruit young students to go work for the VA as nurses and all that. Read the partnership, and if you're out there somewhere in the U.S. and you're a counsel, take advantage of that. We have a partnership with the VA. If there's a VA office nearby, take them to the partnership and say, hey, here's what you committed to. We want to work with you, okay? Another thing that we're doing real quickly is, and Domingo mentioned it, we're working with the green card veterans. We now have two congressmen that are helping us. There's a congressman from Texas, Vicente Gonzalez, who is going to help us sponsor a bill to bring our green card veterans, our deported veterans back. So we're going to be working on that. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your help, because what we want to do is we want to write every congressman. We were with Puerto Rico in Washington about a month ago on the disaster relief. They weren't getting the money. We visited every office in Congress, every senator's office with Puerto Rico, and action was taken. And we want to do the same thing with the deported veterans. So I need your help. Please help us. So around the United States, we have partnerships. And we try to work with different councils. In California, we're working with Zeke Hernandez. He's trying to get a veterans cemetery there. Where's Fred? Fred Garza. Stand up, Fred. Where are you? Fred Garza is from the Valley. He did a Vietnam commemoration event, and we honored 500 veterans from Vietnam. Fred did that over there. So we've got councils that are doing stuff all over the country. So what I want to do now is I want to be able to recognize the members from Wisconsin of what they're doing. So I have the honor to introduce Eugene Manzanet. I'm going to bring him up here in a minute. He's going to talk to you for a few minutes about the project they've got going here. And we've asked him to tell us about some of the veterans here. We've got some Vietnam veterans that have stories to tell. So you have a second piece of paper that's got all these pictures. These are the men and women we're going to honor this morning. I'm going to call them up in a few minutes, read their bios of what they've done. So that is what's going to take place in about 5 minutes. At this time, I'd like to bring up Eugene Manzanet. who is with the, Gene is with the Latino Legacy of Valor Foundation here in Milwaukee. He's going to talk to you about a project that we're doing. And then after that, we're going to bring up some of the vets that he has here in Milwaukee. We want to honor them for the work they're doing. So with that, Eugene Manzanet, come on up and tell us a little bit about your project.
Good morning, everyone. It is a privilege and honor for us to be here today, representing the Latino Veterans Legacy of Valor Foundation and its memorial project. It is a 501c3 committed to honoring the local Latino veterans and their service to this community and nationally. It is pursuing the completion of a dream that started over 25 years ago with some of the founding fathers of the American GI Forum, of building a memorial of these types that hasn't been done before to honor Latino veterans here in the state of Wisconsin. Hopefully you can see the slideshow and follow me. It would be a premier, we need to make sure it was a premier location where the memorial can be called home and appropriately pay a tribute with a plaza, square, after our cultura latina, right? A space for a place for reflection, for storytelling and elements of color, and also to complement the surroundings memorials as well. This is an aerial view of Milwaukee's beautiful lakefront if you haven't seen it. And if you're here long enough, please pay a visit. A premier tribute to the last generations. The foundation board members made a very big decision, and they said, we're going to go big or go home on this one. It would need to be located at Milwaukee's premier lakefront as part of the War Memorial Center. And for that, I need to say thank you to the executive director, Mr. Drent, who has been an absolutely phenomenal partner, including us in the overall redevelopment of the lakefront as a whole. There you go. There's an aerial view of the looking south. This is it right here. This is the most, this is just a beautiful rendition right here. A distinctive plaza where the celebration of our cultural heritage can be held. A place for reflection, storytelling elements. This is where we can educate our community as a whole on the contributions of the Latino veterans and their history of Latino veterans, particularly from here in Wisconsin, and their legacy. This canopy was a big deal. This is going to be a part of the overall experience there. Because if you see it for what it is, it's also going to be a place where we can tell stories, tell the history, and remember our fallen. Beautiful arches. And those arches were framed views of that will complement the surroundings. And out of respect for and reverence of the other veteran memorials that surround it. That's the MacArthur statue right there. This is my favorite, because I've done a number of weddings out there. Plus, allow us for the first time to have a place where veterans can conduct celebrations and ceremonies with seating. Even in the evening, it's an evening presence, the lights, a place for reflection, a place for reverence. There's still some opportunities from artistic values to be incorporated into the project. We're actually asking some local artists to come in and help us. I'm a banker, I'm not an artist. We want this to be colorful, filled with life, and really, truly represent our Latino veterans. Please join me in watching our video. Cue the video, please.
The importance of us having a military memorial, especially a tribute to Wisconsin veterans and Latinos, pays tribute to those sacrifices, but also gives us a place that we could take our kids and say, these are people that look like you. These are the heroes that we want to pay tribute to.
We've had our Latino veterans working on this for the past 25 years. To have it happen right around now is, I think, not only perfect timing, but it's a perfect opportunity to educate families. It's a perfect opportunity to educate our community.
A place that we can go to as a family, as a community, to celebrate, learn, be educated about the experiences of being a Latino in the armed services.
And because of those people that didn't come back, we as veterans, we as a community, we as their families, still remember and honor the sacrifice that they made.
We are honoring Latinos. We are honoring my dad. And my grandkids, when I pass on, will know that they're honoring their grandpa.
In all the major wars and conflicts, Latinos were among the highest demographic of being awarded some of the highest medals of honors and of heroism. I think that should be shared among our community so that we really understand and appreciate what our people that have done throughout the years in this country.
But it's important to remind the public that we also sacrificed and we also contributed to a greater cause, and that is the freedom of this nation.
But I think it's time, that our youth recognize that, that we have other role models and there are heroes within our country.
It gives me and the family, it would give us a sense of pride. This is within their reach.
I come from the south side of Milwaukee. I was at a table with the generals and elected officials and presidents and things like that of all these countries. But that opportunity wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the military.
It's more than just a memorial. It really is a celebration about Latino participation in uniform and what it's meant to this country.
And for me, for my daughters to walk with their heads up, held up high and say, what, my dad did serve. And again, their kids to come, they'll be able, that memorial will represent that.
And we ask you to do everything you can to make this reality, whether it is donating $10, donating $1. The more that we can have be a part of this cause, it'll be their memorials as much as it is our Latino veterans.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're on a mission. This mission is to complete this project and fulfill its dream of honoring and celebrating the lives of our Latino veterans, and I need your help. It is, without doubt, one of the best projects that I've ever been involved in. As a banker, I've financed many schools, buildings, housing, but nothing like this. I need your help. We need your help. My hope is that we can inspire other states to be and follow suit and create a memorial themselves, but maybe aspire to one day have a permanent memorial in Washington, D.C. for all to enjoy. So join me. Please come participate in the renderings outside. We will love to hear your comments, and more importantly, donations. We're looking forward for you to help us complete our mission, and we'll need your financial help. Any donation is welcomed and honored. We have our site, websites, and our addresses. We'll post them up for you. Please contact us directly as we are looking forward to the day that we put the shovels in the ground and celebrate the ribbon cutting of this great memorial for Latino veterans. Thank you.